Hi, welcome to Lori Out Loud Back Talk, Trek Talk. I was putting things on the Buddha board, and as you can see at the moment, it's nicotine over and over and over and over again because I'm having a really hard time having nicotine disappear from my life. And so it made me think about one of my previous nicotine experiences, and I thought I would share it with you. When I was training to do my walk across Canada, I built up to walking 20 miles a day. And when I got up to 10 miles a day, I told myself that I had to quit smoking. So I quit smoking, and every day that I walked farther than 10 kilometers, I told myself that I wouldn't be able to do it if I was a smoker. And I built myself up to 20 kilometers, or 20 miles, I should say 32 kilometers a day. And every day, right? It's like you couldn't do that if you weren't a smoker. Like if you smoked, you could not do this. So I was on my trek. We finished our first province, and we lit sparklers underneath the sign that said "Welcome to Quebec." And so I said to Chris, like, "All right, awesome! I'm the first woman to walk through New Brunswick. Did it 3.5 weeks. I'll buy you steak dinner." And there's an Irving's truck stop right there, and they had awesome food. So we went into the gas station part, and I went up to the bank machine. And I put my bank card in. I took out $100, and when I pulled the receipt out and I looked at it, I let out this like holy shit, blood curdling ah! Everyone in the gas station turned around and looked at me, and I was just like, "Oh, are you all right?" And I was just like, "Oh my god!" Chris comes running over to me and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I was just like, "Holy shit, Chris, we don't have any money." So we only have $25 left. I said, "I can't buy us dinner." I said, "I can't even put gas in the motorhome. I can't even pay for us to go and stay at camp." Like, "Oh my god, Chris, I don't have any money. Like, what the hell are we gonna do?" And he's like, "I don't know." And I said, like, "Well, God," I said, like, "Go and get me as big a cup of coffee as they have." And so I went out and I phoned my coordinator, right? And I was just like, "Oh my god, like, I don't have any money." And when we started out, they told me, like, "Don't worry, everything will take care of itself. The money will take care of itself, and you know, like, the sponsors will take care of themselves, and you just worry about getting out there and doing your kilometers and raising awareness, and you know, like, it'll all come together." So you know, like, holy smokes, like, I don't have any money at all. And he was like, "Well, I was afraid you wouldn't go if I told you, but the MS Society decided to withdraw their support of your walk. So when they pulled out at the last moment," he said, "we lost the trust account, and I also lost the opportunity to get any kind of national sponsors because I became an individual. I wasn't, like, there was nobody with me on my journey. It was me making this journey, and it was all it." And so yeah, I was just like, "Oh my god." And I said, "Well, why didn't you tell me?" And he said, "Well, I was afraid if I told you that you wouldn't go." And he's right. I wouldn't have gone, right? Because I wouldn't have believed that I could do it. So I was just like, "Holy shit, well, like, man, I don't know what to do. What should I do?" And so he said, "Well, let me think about it, and I'll call you back." So Chris comes around, and he's got this gigantic cup of coffee, and he gives it to me, and I'm sitting there rocking back and forth on the stairs to the motorhome, and he said, "Is there anything else that I can get you?" And I looked up at him, and I said, "Do you have any cigarettes?" And he said, "Yeah, I do." And I said, "Give them to me." And so he gave me his pack of cigarettes, and I sat there for the rest of the afternoon drinking coffee, smoking cigarettes, having a frickin' panic attack, anxiety attack, nervous breakdown, because I was at the border of Quebec and New Brunswick and literally had like $125 to my name, and had a motorhome that I had to pay for that cost me like $3,750 a month. And it's like, okay, so now I gotta pay for a freaking motorhome, and I can't put gas in, I can't buy us groceries. It's like, holy shit, what the hell am I supposed to do? So I came up with the brilliant idea of going back to the town of Edmundston in New Brunswick, which was the closest one inside. We went to a Sobeys, and I talked to the manager there, and I told the manager that I was walking across Canada and that I was raising awareness for multiple sclerosis, and asked if I would be able to park my motorhome and set up a booth kind of thing to raise awareness and hand pamphlets out to people and raise money for MS and for my trek. And so he said yes. So we set up at this Sobeys and we went out and we bought a map and spent the night like writing the TRANSCANADA trek for MS and doing a route and things, because I had one of my own but it was already taped up to the motorhome and stuff. So we set all of these things up and we spent the day. Hey, that's how I started with my spiel, right? So, like, hi, my name's Lori Wickdahl and I'm walking across Canada, 2 feet and a heartbeat, the TRANSCANADA trek for MS. I'm trying to raise awareness, and I ended up doing that the entire way. I kind of guess I panhandled my way across Canada. That was the fuel behind the 2 feet and a heartbeat, right? Sands ended up being my clothing and footwear sponsor, and I stopped at more Sands stores across Canada than I believe any other individual. That could be my other claim to fame, is that I've been to more Sands stores when they were operational than any other person in the country, other than probably like the Mr. Cohen himself, the man who was the owner of the Sands stores. So as I'm sitting here talking, you can see that, you know, hey, Buddha's helping me make nicotine disappear from my life. So that was my moment. And actually it's funny because the rest of the way across Canada I smoked, and I'd take a break, and every time I took a break from being on the road, I'd sit there and have coffee and a cigarette, or pop and a cigarette, water and a cigarette, whatever. And at one point in time, because we were so desperate for money, and that was when Players and Export lost their right to sponsor these public events, right? So I thought, like, oh man, they could sponsor me. I'm not a public event. I'm not anything. That's what everyone kept telling me, that I wasn't an organization. It's like they could just, you know, like, hey, so it's like, write a letter. And it's like, my name's Lori Wickdahl and I'm walking across Canada. And when I take a break from the road, there's nothing more that I enjoy with my coffee than having a Du Maurier or having a Blakers or having an Export, McDonald's tobacco. You know, it just, oh, it makes it all worthwhile. And you sound like an absolute crazy person, right? So, but hey, I became a crazy person while I was out there, that's for darn sure. But that was my, how do you walk around the world and smoke? Well, if you can do it while you're walking across Canada, you can do it while you're walking around the world. I did it while I was walking around the world the last time. So that's my, how on earth do I quit smoking? I've asked Buddha for help. Back talk, trek talk. I'm Lori Wickdahl. I know a lot of stuff and I like to talk to people. Hope you come back for more Back Talk, Trek Talk. Bye. Subscribe.